Welcome to Middlesex Moments, coming to you from Middlesex Community College in Middletown. I'm Steve Minkler, the college CEO. Joining me today is Ashley Raithel, who is a professor of English at the college. And thanks for joining me today, Ashley.
Hi, Steve. Happy to be here.
And we're actually going to talk about a couple of topics today, but why don't we start off talking about our Center for Civic Engagement, which you are the coordinator of here at the college. And, briefly, what is the center's purpose and what do we have going on this semester?
So the center does a lot of different things, but mainly our goal is to help students and faculty and staff connect with the community and give back to this wonderful demographic that comes to our school. We can, give something back to them. So we do different volunteer opportunities, and then we also, connect people with internships. Yeah.
Okay. Well, last year the center helped host I think it was the first ever day of service from Middlesex Community College. And what was involved in that?
Yeah, it was the first time we were really out in the community with a lot of different organizations. And so this year we're going to have another day of service. It's going to be October 30th. I'm contacting a lot of different organizations now, but I know that some of the projects will be doing yard work or outdoor painting. We're also going to be stuffing thank you boxes for veterans. So that's exciting too. We're still finalizing a lot of the information, so people should, be looking in their email boxes to see the details about this, but we're really excited. Everything will be socially distanced or masked or outdoors, so that we're being really safe, but we're continuing our commitment to this awesome day of service.
Now, last year when we did the day of service, what agencies did the college help out with?
We were with Edelbrook, Gilead. We were with the Public Library of Middletown. We were with the Meriden Soup Kitchen, an organization called Cattails. So we really did a lot of different things in a lot of different ways. We were cleaning tables, which was, something that we did for the Soup Kitchen. And she came back and said, you think this is a really small thing that you're doing for us, but it's actually huge. All of these organizations are volunteer run. And they just don't have time necessarily to do a deep clean of all of their items. So, just something as simple as cleaning tables and chairs is actually really beneficial. So we're doing more outdoor activities this year just because of what we're experiencing with COVID-19. But again, yard work has to be done at a lot of different places. So we're happy to be doing that.
And I know when you talk to some of these folks that we helped out last year, they were very appreciative, and it was in many ways represented the first time a college, Middlesex Community College, has been involved with them.
Yes, we made a lot of really great connections, and I got, I was at one site, but I got an email probably from every single site just reaching out and saying they were so thankful that we were involved with them and they're excited to partner with us again. We had faculty and students working side by side. When are you often raking leaves with a student, right? And so it's this whole totally different relationship and experience that the employees of our school got to have with students as well, which again, like solidifying our community within ourselves, but also with the greater town of Middletown and Cromwell and Meriden.
Great. Now, one of the things that the college and the center and you personally are involved in is getting out the vote. And I think we have a pretty important election this year. But what can you say about the college's needs for our students and our employees to remember to register to vote and get out and vote this year?
So obviously we want as many voices to be heard as possible. And, this statistic is out there. I think it's circulating again this year, but 132 million Americans did not vote in the 2016 election. That's more than the people that voted combined. So think about, the implications of this. It can make change. I'm kind of the advocate of you don't get to complain about it if you don't vote, right? So if you want your voice to be heard, if you want to be able to say, well, actually, I really criticize this thing that's happening in my community or my state or my country, hopefully you went and you told them that through your vote. So we're lucky we're not lucky because of COVID, but due to COVID, we have the opportunity to absentee vote. So everyone in Connecticut can fill out an absentee ballot application. You probably got one in the mail, but if you accidentally threw it out, you can download it on the Secretary of State's website, fill it out, get it in. That way you don't have to physically go to your polling location. But you can still, I think most towns are still having live voting. We are in East Haddam, I know. So do whatever you can to get your voice out there. I mean, a lot of our students, it's going to be their first opportunity to vote in an election, and that is super exciting. You should be excited about that.
Absolutely. And I know we have links to all of that information from Middlesex Community College website, mxcc.edu. So we have to take a short break, and when we come back, Ashley will stay with us, and we'll be joined by one of her colleagues, Adam Floridia from the English department, and we'll be talking about the Middlesex Community College Book Club. You're listening to Middlesex Moments from Middlesex Community College.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Slupski, the Director of Academic Advising. At Middlesex, you will be assigned an academic advisor who is your guide and resource to everything Middlesex. They can help you select an educational goal, career path, and let you know of different resources and opportunities on campus that will help you achieve your goal. As a new student, you will work with an intake advisor to determine your first semester schedule and make sure you're set up for the first semester at Middlesex. During your first semester, you will be assigned to a faculty or staff advisor who's your guide for the rest of your time at Middlesex. This person will help you determine courses to take each semester, make sure you stay in progression for your goals, and help you adjust to anything that might be happening each semester. They will also help you make sure you stay on track to graduate. If you have further questions about advising or need to reach out to your academic advisor, please feel free to email us or find us in Founders Hall.
Welcome back to Middlesex Moments, coming to you from Middlesex Community College. I'm Steve Minkler, the college CEO. I've been chatting with Ashley Raithel, who's a professor in the English department and coordinator of our Center for Civic Engagement. And joining us now is one of her colleagues from the English department, Adam Floridia. So thank you both again for joining me today. So for the rest of our talk today, we're going to talk more about the Middlesex Community College Book Club. And Adam, can you tell us a little about the history of the book club and how you got involved?
Sure. For as long as I've been at the college, which goes back to part-time in 2007, there was a book club at the college. It used to be run by one of our wonderful librarians, Ann Palak. She would pick books that she thought people would be engaged in and interested in discussing, and I thought that was wonderful. And she retired, oh my goodness, maybe 3 or 4 years ago now. And that obviously she was in charge of the book club, so that kind of went away, and I thought that was a detriment to the college, and it was something I'm very interested in reading, something I'd always wanted to do, so I decided to kind of rejuvenate it and start up another book club.
Mm-hmm. And I know both you and Ashley are voracious readers, which makes a lot of sense since you teach English, but is the book club actually part of any required reading of the students, or is this just sort of an activity that's off to the side of that?
It kind of depends on what book we're doing at the time. We always let faculty know what our book selections are before the start of the semester so that they can include them in their syllabus. If they want to, I know that I kind of struggle with getting through the content that I need to do for my English classes with an additional textbook. So often for my class, it's, bonus points, read this book and come and talk with us. But like some of the books that we're reading this semester, White Fragility, that's a really hot issue and an issue that probably a lot of our English composition courses are talking about anyway, just the subject of racism in America. So I do think that sometimes our books do lend themselves to easily teachable items.
Mm-hmm. Now, Adam, how often does the book club meet?
We meet once a month, September, October, and November. And I believe this semester we settled on, I believe it's the third Wednesday of every month. So we're holding it virtually. It's a shame not to be able to meet in person and have the sense of personal community, sitting and chatting about books with other live people. But this is the next best thing, so we do it virtually, and hopefully that allows access for more people. We do it through Microsoft Teams. The link is easily clickable on our website, mxcc.edu/book club. So anybody could join at 12:30 on the third Wednesday of the month.
Okay. And in fact, as we record this, we've already passed the third Wednesday of September. So Ashley, what was the first book and how was this chosen, this first book that we read?
So the first book that we read this semester is called Small Teaching Online. And we did it along with our Center for Teaching. So it was a group organized book club read. And we chose this book obviously because of the scenario that we're in right now, which is that most of us are teaching online. Not the majority, but many of the people who are teaching online this fall may not taught online before, or not taught all of their courses online before, which is the case for a lot of different people. So this book, it's helpful small things that you can do to your class to improve it and improve the student success rate. And it's based in science, so it has like a lot of the different theory, but then it has very actionable items that professors can add to their course without having to redo their whole syllabus or reimagine their whole semester. So even if you started reading it right now, today, you didn't come to book club, but you started right now, maybe you'd get like 2 things you could change that you're doing this semester or add to your semester that wouldn't mess anything up and actually improve student success.
And so, Ashley, both you and Adam have taught classes online before, and now I think both of you are fully teaching online. Were there any tips or any things that you got from this book that you now have put into practice in your classes?
Some of the I wish I had read this last semester when we transitioned to fully online. The stuff that I liked the most was just about the ease and usefulness of making videos. So I floundered with that a lot back in March because I'd taught online, but it was always asynchronous and kind of post stuff, and I'd always reply promptly. But they really, the author really sells the idea of quick videos like this, where you don't have to worry about being a professional editor. It's nice to have students see a real person, and just hearing a voice and being able to listen to it sometimes can go so much farther than what they're going to glean off of a PowerPoint that is just text or something. And since I tend to be more of a talker, the videos that I have made have pushed the half-hour boundary. I always open them up with, feel free to watch this at 1.5 or 2 speed, as long as you can understand me, even if I sound squeaky. But it really stressed that videos should be about 5 to 6 minutes, and I totally understand that, and that's something I'm continuing to work on.
So in the future, we could binge watch Adam Floridia's lectures.
I've got my own YouTube channel for that.
All right. And Ashley, if you could describe a little about the discussion you had in the book club event that was held recently over the book, Small Teaching Online.
We talked a lot about the things that we found interesting or the ways that we, want to incorporate some of the ideas in this class. Obviously, as you can imagine, it was more well attended by faculty who this book really speaks to, right? Than students. And teachers love to talk about teaching. It's like the thing. So it was great just to be able for us to kind of have the book as a soundboard, but also talk about the things that are going on in our classes and how to make them better or change them, that could have significant outcome. I got some great tips about discussion board posts. I'm always trying to improve my discussion board. And this book, it speaks right to something that I do in my class, which is the typical post an additional post, have 2 response posted posts to other students. But when in a classroom, would you say, okay, I'm going to track what all of you are saying. You may say one thing and then you must also respond to 2 peers. We wouldn't do that, right? It's not organic. Mm-hmm. So this book talks a little bit about how to change that to help the organicness of a discussion board, which is interesting.
Okay. So yeah, lots of good tips for teachers, but I think probably instructive for maybe a student to read it too, to know how teachers think about teaching. Maybe something we don't talk to our students enough about.
Well,
right?
Actually, that one thing it stressed throughout too, and I read the previous book was Small Teaching, not online, just Small Teaching, and I took a lot of great little mini lessons to use in my classroom. And in both books, it stresses the idea that we should be upfront with telling students why they are learning something, what our purpose is for teaching this. And it doesn't have to be a whole extra lesson, lecture or lesson, but just a quick little, hey, this is why we're doing this. And this is based on learning theory. This is going to help it stick. This is going to help you improve. So this is why we're doing it this way. So from that aspect, I mean, students reading the book themselves, they'd be able to see, oh, well, okay, maybe this is why the teachers are doing it this way. And I get this, and this is going to work for me. And hopefully this helps. So yeah, everybody should read it.
Okay, awesome. So the book that the book club has chosen for the month of October, which coming up, is White Fragility by Robin DiAngelo, and it almost goes without saying that this is a very timely book with everything that's happened in our society, especially this year, but for many, many years. So it's almost an obvious question. Why was this book picked, and what's the hope in reading this book as we as a college really refocus our efforts on civic engagement and diversity, equity, and inclusion at this point?
I think that, so obviously we picked this book thinking about the current climate and the things that are going on in our society. And my hope is that as many people who are part of our college community will read it, because it's a lot about dialogue, and it's a lot about how we talk about uncomfortable conversations. And it's a lot about thinking about who we are and how we think about ourselves as people. And I think everyone can get something out of it. I hope that everyone gets something out of it. I hope that it helps us to understand our students and each other better. And I just think it's one of the most important books probably being read this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think one of the things that book does too is that it kind of hits the reset button a little bit about vocabulary. What do we mean by words like racism or white privilege? And how do we, reflect upon our own experiences as certainly those that, are built on our family experiences, our family structure, but the society around us that we are, born into and live and are socialized in this structure that we today know as, the United States and everything that surrounds it. And I think it goes hand in hand too with the courageous conversations that we do try to have on this campus with our students and with each other. Adam, were there some themes that you read through this book as you were going through it?
So honestly, I have not read it yet. This hit Ashley's radar before mine when she suggested, yep, that's perfect. We'll definitely do that for October. And I do try, if she suggests a book and I haven't read it yet, but I know we're going to do it, I honestly tend to wait until closer to the discussion date, so that everything is fresher in my mind. Even though I annotate and take notes, I'll probably read another 3 books before that meeting, so this one will be fresh in my mind. I ordered it, of course, as soon as we decided on it, and my wife read it, and she's dying for me to read it so that we can talk about it as well. Right, she might join our book club too. Actually, she works, so.
Well, I think before we started recording, I was saying my daughter and I read it together. So hopefully, both of us will join the book club for that. I think it does challenge us to think about who we are individually, and to really challenge the assumptions that we have about ourselves and about others we encounter, whether they are the same race as we are or a different race. Yeah. So, any thoughts about having more students read a book like this year, whether it's through the book club or through the courses that you're teaching?
Well, Ashley, you said earlier, I think this, of all in English 101, which is probably the class we teach the most, it's centered on nonfiction readings, a lot of contemporary articles dealing with contemporary issues. I mean, there's nothing more timely and relevant than this right now. So I think it would be hard, if not impossible, to add a book to a syllabus at this point in the semester. But for spring semester going forward, I mean, this would be a great one that we could look at easily incorporating into an English 101, or plenty of other classes. I'm sure some sociology classes, and it can be has a broad scope.
Mm-hmm. And it certainly is a book that will be included on the bibliography that we are creating for the college, that are just resources for people who want to know more about subjects like white fragility, white privilege, how to be anti-racist. A book by Ibram Kendi is an example of that, and how we can become just simply more aware of the society we're living in and how to make it a better place for all. Well, on that note, it's time for a quick break. You're listening to Middlesex Moments from Middlesex Community College.
Hi, I'm Lisa Wilson, the supervisor of the Academic Success Center. The Academic Success Center serves as a support service for all students at Middlesex Community College. The ASC offers tutoring at no additional cost to MxCC students throughout the fall and spring semesters. We are located on the main floor of Chapman Hall within the Learning Commons. The Learning Commons houses the Academic Success Center, Distance Learning, and the Jean Burr Smith Library. Our highly qualified staff and tutors provide a friendly and comfortable environment that is conducive to all learning styles. Our objective is to guide and help you achieve success in your academic career. In order to accommodate students' busy schedules, we offer in-person tutoring in which you will have the opportunity to work side by side with professional and peer tutors, as well as faculty and English and math support specialists. If you are unable to come to campus or prefer to work from home, we also offer online tutoring. For both of these services, you can drop in or schedule an appointment ahead of time. The ASC offers tutoring in a variety of subjects. Some popular subjects include English, math and statistics, biology, chemistry, physics, and engineering. It is best to visit the ASC several days before your assignment. Please bring your textbook, a copy of your assignment, a calculator for math, and any notes or drafts of essays for writing assignments, along with specific questions for the tutor. It can also be helpful if you arrive with assignments previously evaluated by your instructor. The more work you have done and the better prepared you are, the more the tutor can assist you. If you would like to drop in to see a tutor or schedule an appointment ahead of time, please visit our website at mxcc.edu/ASC. Here you will also find our hours, the services we offer, and helpful videos showing you how to access online tutoring. We look forward to seeing you on campus.
Welcome back to Middlesex Moments, coming to you from Middlesex Community College. I'm Steve Minkler, the college CEO, and I've been speaking with two members of the college's English department, Ashley Raithel and Adam Floridia, who, among many other things that they do for the college, are the co-leaders of the Middlesex Community College Book Club. So before the break, we talked about the first book that the book club read, called Small Teaching Online, which was the featured book at our book club here in September. And then White Fragility coming up in the month of October. And Adam, you told me that the book club typically meets the third Wednesday of each month. So White Fragility is coming up October 21st at 12:30. Mm-hmm. And in this COVID environment, where are people meeting for the book club?
Virtually in Microsoft Teams. The link can be found on the Middlesex Book Club webpage, and just click and join.
Now, you've been using some other ways of reaching out to people with the book club, other ways of social media, and I think something called the Goodreads site. And talk a little more about that.
I love Goodreads since I discovered that, I don't know, 12 years ago. And I started to look at Ashley, as you mentioned, a social media question, because other than Goodreads, I have zero social media, no Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, anything. So I don't know if Goodreads counts, but that's the one sort of social media.
Okay.
I recommend it. The dorkiest social media you could be a part of.
And that's my only one. And
it's great.
I recommend it to students all the time. As anyone who likes reading, it's just a great site to go on. And you don't, if you're anti-social, you're not looking for the social part of social media, you don't have to talk to other people or look at what other people, you could look at what they say or think. You could just use it as a sort of a repository for your own books. If you read a lot, it might be hard to keep track of what you've read or what you thought about it. You could write reviews or not write reviews. You can read other people's reviews. I've discovered some amazing books that I know I never, ever would have come across if it weren't for reading one of my friends' reviews on that and go, wow, and this person has a similar interest and this book sounds amazing, and I've gotten some books that have blown me away. So goodreads.com is a wonderful site, and we have our own MxCC Reads group on there, so you can go on and check and see what books we're reading, see what books we've read. There are discussion platforms on there if anyone wants to have an interactive discussion, if they missed the sort of live or virtual live discussion, and keep abreast of kind of what's coming up with the book club. And the links for the Google Meets are on there as well, so you could always go there and join.
Okay, that's great. Ashley, how are the books for the book club selected? Is this just you and Adam in a back room somewhere picking out books that you like, or how do we get the books?
Sometimes it is, but that's not usually the case. We like to ask the people who normally come to book club a lot. Every once in a while, I'm texting Adam some book title that I really want to read with the book club. But we have one colleague who really likes mysteries, so we included a mystery. The book, Adam's going to talk more about it. The Bright Hour came to us from another one of our colleagues as a recommendation. So we're always open to hear what people would like to come to talk about. All of us, Adam and I actually have very different tastes in books. And it's always good to get another taste in there than just the books that we like.
Yeah, especially Steve, when I talked before about how the book club came about, or I kind of reinvigorated it after Anne left, I didn't mention that I think after 2 years of doing it on my own, when Ashley joined our full-time English faculty, I immediately tried to rope her into doing it with me. Otherwise, every month we would be reading Kurt Vonnegut or David Foster Wallace or something. And I am completely aware that not everyone shares my interest. It's sometimes hard for me to branch out. Okay, well, what would other people want to read? So that's where Ashley comes in great.
But if students want to read Kurt Vonnegut, they can with you this spring, right, Adam?
Nice. Yes. Shameless self-promotion. I'm teaching a novels of Kurt Vonnegut class.
Oh, you are? Okay.
On ground in the spring, hopefully on ground in the spring. I taught it once before, and the temporary class is about to expire, so I could teach it once more, and I'm really looking forward to it. So if you're interested in Kurt Vonnegut, novels of Kurt Vonnegut in the spring.
Well, that's fantastic. Good. And I think, Ashley, that's a lot of pressure on you because you represent other people, like all the other people in the world besides Adam.
Adam wants to read them than everyone else.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
Well, it could also be like all the other authors other than Kurt Vonnegut.
So when you select the books for book club, do you intentionally going in looking for a theme, perhaps? We have 3 books per semester. Is there anything that knits them all together?
I would say it's definitely not intentional, especially the way we end up picking, since the choosing itself is so piecemeal. I think of something that really resonates strongly with me, and I'm like, I want to do this. And I actually can say no or disagree, but usually says yes, and same thing with her. Or we get recommendations from other people. So Rebecca Lowe, who runs the Center for Teaching, asked if we wanted to do small teaching online as sort of a co-book club CFT thing. And absolutely, yes. And I mean, that was so timely. Ashley, I said, Ashley recommended White Fragility, and that's obviously another one that's very timely and a great one to read. The last one that we're going to read is called The Bright Hour by Nina Riggs. Mm-hmm. I had never heard of this. I want to say sometime over the summer, Christine Ruggiero, another one of our English colleagues, texted me and a couple other people in the department and said, have you read this book? It's great. You should read it. And I looked it up, read the description, ordered it. Again, haven't read it yet. I'll read it in about 2 months or a month and a half. But just reading the description, it sounds amazing. It's about a woman who was diagnosed, she was young, I want to say late 30s, early 40s, with terminal breast cancer. And I mean, I hate to just read the back, but how does one learn to live each day unattached to the outcome? How do you approach the moments, big and small, with both love and honesty? Exploring motherhood, marriage, friendship, and memory, Nina Riggs asks, what makes a meaningful life when one has limited time? Reading that really resonated with me, and I thought this also is timely. While it has nothing to do necessarily with COVID or isolation, the feelings of uncertainty, the feelings maybe of being alone, a lot of mental health issues I'm sure will kind of come up in this, and just sort of how do we deal with the day-to-day, whether or not we are diagnosed with something terminal or we're just trying to get through our daily lives. So I hope that this would be one that would really help people who have either lost someone or are suffering, and for just anyone who kind of might be having a tough time or just dealing with life right now. I know things haven't been easy for me with all this COVID stuff, and I don't know if I'm in the early stages of a midlife crisis, but I read that, I'm like, I need to read this book. So that one, again, I think of, if you asked if there's a connection between them, I think this semester, unintentionally, we could argue that they're all very timely and contemporary social issues. Across the country, there's more online learning going on than ever. We got one on online learning and online teaching. We mentioned White Fragility, and the conversations about race that need to happen right now in our country, and then the Bright Hour with just kind of living and looking how to get through each day and with joy and comfort and warmth and family and all that stuff. So I think there is a nice connection. And as we chatted about during the commercial break, we didn't realize until, I think, Steve, you said this, that these are actually all nonfiction books too. Mm-hmm. Again, something actually I would not normally pick. I'm usually not much of a nonfiction reader, and I think we've got 3 great nonfiction choices.
Absolutely. So the Bright Hour, the Middlesex Community College Book Club, will meet Wednesday, November 18th at 12:30. Again, you can join us through Microsoft Teams. Just go to mxcc.edu/book club for more information and for the link to join Ashley and Adam and many others for our book club. The other thing too about the Bright Hour, just kind of reflecting on the summary of what the book is about, is that, like you said, Adam, it's a way for those of us who may have lost people from cancer or from COVID or others, as a way to help process those emotions and those feelings, you know. So I applaud you guys for these 3 choices, like you said, all very, very timely. So as we kind of wind down our time together on Middlesex Moments, looking ahead toward the English department a little bit, you guys are very active here on campus. I would say one of our strongest departments, probably I think the best English department in the community colleges.
Definitely the best English department on campus.
So Adam, you mentioned in the spring you'll be teaching a special topics course on the novels of Kurt Vonnegut. Are there other similar special interest or special topics courses that the English department offers occasionally?
You can also take world literature too with me in the spring. So we do short stories, plays, and poetry from all across the world. We start in about 1850 and move forwards. We're going to read awesome things like Candide, Goethe's Faust. It'll be a great semester. It's going to be an asynchronous course offered online. And I really hope to have some aspiring English students in that class too. That's always fun.
Right.
Yeah. I've got Kurt Vonnegut, so I'm going to throw in another. I'm dying to get back in the classroom and see live people and talk with students, especially about something I love so much. So I'm hoping I'm able to do that on ground. I'm teaching an advanced composition class right now where I did manage to, I'm not going to say crowbar in a Kurt Vonnegut book, but at least something that gives students an introduction, and it does absolutely fit with the course content. So I'm hoping that my current students kind of like, hey, this guy's pretty cool. I'd like to read some of his novels, and I can rope them in.
Cool. And as a matter of fact, for teaching on ground, we do follow all the CDC and Department of Public Health guidelines here at Middlesex Community College. So many of our classes, actually all of our classes, are smaller than they normally are on ground, so we can maintain social distance. But I think, Adam, you could take a cue from Professor Victor Trier. Teaches history. He's a frequent guest in this program. He's been teaching in our multi-purpose room on Chapman Hall, which is usually, for our listeners who've never been to campus, is a large room that audience style could probably seat a couple hundred people. He's got 24 students in half of that room. And talk about midlife crisis, it's a challenge to see and hear everything at that distance. But he's in the room with 24 students and is really enjoying himself, because that's what he and you and Ashley are all really kind of meant to do. You're master teachers, so we thank you for that. So I guess just to wrap up, the book club again. This is the Middlesex Community College Book Club. The first book that we've already read was, Ashley?
Small Teaching Online in September.
And since I've got you still on the microphone here, the second book, which is coming up in October, is?
White Fragility.
And that's we'll be meeting Wednesday, October 22nd at 12:30. And Adam, book number 3?
The Bright Hour, a memoir of living and dying by Nina Riggs.
And that's Wednesday, November 18th at 12:30. So those of you in our audience who would love to join us, read these books, and to join the Middlesex Community College Book Club, go to our website at mxcc.edu/book club for the link to the Microsoft Teams meetings, and we'll be happy to meet you virtually. So again, many thanks to my guests, Ashley Raithel and Adam Floridia, professors in the English department here at Middlesex Community College.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Steve.
And many thanks to you, our listeners, for joining us for another edition of Middlesex Moments. As always, you're welcome to visit us in person. Remember to bring your face mask. Our main campus is located at 100 Training Hill Road in Middletown, or you can visit us at our Meriden Center at Platt High School, where we offer afternoon and evening classes 4 days a week. And certainly anytime visit us online at mxcc.edu. So for everyone here at Middlesex Community College, I'm Steve Minkler. Please be safe and be well.